Cat burgers are back, y'all. Who's surprised? Only thing that I'm worried of, they gonna put that money on it? We're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have 7-foot demigods or 5'8" dribbling over everywhere. Stay tuned. Here we go. Cue the intro.
One of the great scores in the history of this game.
It's one of the most unguardable shots in the NBA.
I'm the phantom of the court, slipping through the D like a ghost. My shots a whisper, silent, swift. You'll hear the swish before I lift.
So, one of the big things that they talked about for 2K26 is making builds, year round to where it's playable. So personally, what I would do, they already said they're bringing Cat Breakers back, but there's going to be new ways to achieve it. One of the ways, if you're not living under a rock, is probably going to be to where you can maximize past what their limitations is. So it says 89 driving dunk right here. Is there a way long term to where you end up doing it like that? Actually tweeted out, how we had in 2K25 we had +2 badge elevators, and then later in the season we had +3 badge elevators. Something like that, but with Cat Breakers. So like season 5 through 8 or whatever, you end up getting to where you have Cat Breakers that can be used in this situation. Now, build diversity, that's what y'all came here for. So a lot of people are freaking out, if you haven't noticed, about the thought of having a 7-foot point guard and those 6-foot guards not being viable. So we're going to talk about a few things. One thing, obviously, would be to where you have dribble animations for all builds. But there's a caveat. That taller build is still going to be somewhat slow and clunky as far as like dribble handles compared to the shorter guard. I mean, simple physics, right? Someone's going to be quicker with the ball when they're 6 foot compared to if they're 6'10". I mean, y'all see Wimby dribbling, right? So that's one thing. That's one thing I mentioned on Twitter here a while back when first talked about build diversity. The other thing, so there's a few ratings currently, like close shot, that if you max it out, that's also 99 post hook. Separate the two. Okay? Another thing, and obviously I'm on a 6'3" point guard right now to show you a few things. A lot of people will max out their mid-range and not max out their 3-ball, but it still helps them on the 3-ball. And we had somewhat of a goal like this before. You had midi magician, and they took that out. And so then now they just have set shot specialist that just goes across every shot. And really the only thing that you really have for a 3-ball or for the 3-point rating is limitless range. And even then, if you followed 2K Labs, if you followed 2K Toots, if you're shooting from the corner, that's still your mid-range. The only time this 3-ball really plays a factor right now is if you're playing from the hash or the top of the key. So again, having a mid-range Deadeye, bring that back. Having Midi Magician, and then having a Agent 3s, separate those two again. So like, it's funny, not to get off topic, but it's funny that argument always starts between, is it the builder or is it the gameplay? Is it the builder or is it the gameplay? When it's very clearly the builder, but the community doing everything that it can to exploit the builder. Like, a few years back. Let me make it centered just to show you. A few years back, people would... Now I think they bumped it up to 96. I forget what it was last year or the year before, I forget. But they would max out their post control, and it was pretty cheap for a guard to get unpluckable and gold instead of maxing out their ball handle. So I would have post control and ball handle be two separate categories as far as unpluckable. I don't know what you would call it for post control, but that's another thing. And my biggest thing is currently this center can only get an 88 post fade. You know what that guard can get that had 99 mid range? 99 post fade. without even having post control on there. Yeah, you don't get the badge, but you still have the ratings. So making a post fade rating, again, diversifies builds. If someone has to spend points on either close shot or hook, post hook, that's going to make it to where they're spending less on others. The other thing would be a moving shot rating. Diversify between someone who's a shot creator and someone who's a set shot person. Again, that's why it was kind of funny. So yeah, you got shifty shooter and set shot specialist being two different things. But I don't know that that shifty shooter was that powerful. I mean, believe me, when I first heard about shifty shooter, I thought it was like typical shots. I wanted it on a 7-footer. But you can't get it at 7 foot. And I noticed I was still making my drift shots that much. So those are the things. Mid-range and 3-point having separate badges for their rating. If you want to shoot a 3-ball, you have to have a certain catch and shoot for that. If you want to shoot a mid-range, you have to have a certain badge for that. The only reason that people talked about pie charts and wanted to bring back pie charts wasn't so they could be limited role players. It was to balance everybody. If everybody had an 81 3-ball, it set people apart. That's the only reason that I even brought up pie charts. I personally don't want pie charts. I want to go the extreme opposite. I wanted to expand the builder as much as it can. That will create build diversity. And that's what I got for y'all today. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. We're going to have some more videos coming out this week. We got gameplay video coming out from 2K on probably Thursday, Tuesday or Thursday. And then next week is when we talk about the builder. And we'll see how close we are with this. But until next time, I'm out. I got one more thing for you guys. Hang tight. Now, if y'all have been following me on X or whatever, one of the things that I personally feel like we need to bring back is the Easter egg builds. So essentially that would remove the NBA builds from this, and you would have to end up finding it. That was one of the joys of the builder for me a couple years back. I do think that they had to fine tune it a little bit because, like, you know, there are certain builds. We'll get into it real quick. There are certain builds that can, like, mostly the guards that can get certain animations, you know. But if you're making Dirk Nowitzki, for example, making them an inch shorter, a lot less strength. So, like, it's really not a viable build other than just, you know, it's Dirk Nowitzki. There isn't a player name for him. Like, if I was to finish this, it would literally say like 3-level scoring threat. Nothing special about it. The only thing that currently is nice about a build like this is you get all of his animations at the beginning. That's it. So in my personal opinion, one of the things that they could do for 2K26 is actually having, you know, where he is 7 foot with 7'4" wingspan, but he gets shifty shooter, you know, giving him something to, like, kind of balance, you know, like, pretty sure, where is it at? Pretty sure Kyrie Irving, can't remember if it's Kyrie Irving or who it was, but they have, like, ball handle isn't as high as it needs to be to actually have the animation, but they get it anyways. So to me that would kind of balance things, but again, I would go to where it had the NBA build as an Easter egg, because you already are kind of redundant with it with Pro Toon builds. I mean, heck, there's like 3, let's see, pretty sure there's like 3 Porzingis builds. So you got 3-point Titan, and then there's I think it's under balance, yeah, and then you got the NBA build. So it's like, and again, you get those two having their name, but then you go to NBA build and it doesn't have anything. It just has like a regular name. So That's my little rant on that.